Woo! What's going on, guys? Almost Form coming at you guys today with another video. Today's video, man, we're going to do the preview. It's a late one. Late at night anyways. We are in week 16. The Detroit Lions are going up to Minnesota. Face off the Minnesota Vikings in an NFC North battle. The Lions need one more win to clinch the division. The Lions coming in at 10-4, first in the NFC North. And the Minnesota Vikings, 7-7. Second place in the NFC North, and they need to win. They're in desperation mode right now, the Minnesota Vikings, and we need one more to clinch the division, clinch the playoffs. Huge game. It seems like every week I'm talking about how big these games are getting, and we are getting into crunch time. So this is a big game, but let's go to the injuries. We start with the Lions because they are the road team. Fullback Jason Kabinda has a knee injury, limited practice. He is labeled out. Defensive back C.J. Gardner-Johnson, pectoral. Coming back miraculously that he came back. Limited practice. He is out though. Probably be back for the Dallas game next week. Cornerback Jerry Jacobs, hamstring. No practice. He is labeled out as well. Tight end Brock Wright has a hip. No practice. He is out as well. Linebacker Derek Barnes. I think that's a pretty significant injury. Shoulder, limited practice. He is doubtful, so I doubt he'll be dressed up. And then defensive tackle Levi Muzarike has a knee, full practice, looks like he's going. Center, Frank Ragnow, knee, toe, back, rest. Guy's got all kinds of injuries. He was a full practice on Friday. He is a go for Sunday. Right tackle, Penei Sewell, shoulder injury, full practice on Friday. No injury designation. He's a go as well. So a couple injuries here, 4 guys out. You know, with I think the big one being, still C.J. Gardner-Johnson has been out for a while. Derek Barnes, I think, is a significant injury because he was adding a little bit to that defense. Defense has kind of been, struggled, been up and down. And Barnes has played pretty good so far in that defense. And he's doubtful, so it doesn't look like he's going. But O-line intact, a couple injuries, a couple guys banged up. It's week 16. There's a lot of people banged up on all 32 teams. So now we go to the Vikings. Cornerback Byron Murphy Jr., he is a starter. He has a knee injury, did not practice. He will be out as well. Wide receiver Jalen Naylor, concussion, did not practice. He is out. Defensive tackle Jonathan Bullard, he has an ankle, limited practice. He is questionable. Running back Alexander Madison, he was pretty much the starter all year, has an ankle injury, limited practice, questionable as well. Offensive tackle Brian O'Neill, ankle, limited practice, questionable. He's a starter as well. Linebacker Ivan Pace Jr., the rookie, undrafted rookie, good story, really good linebacker too. Shoulder, limited practice, questionable. Defensive tackle Harrison Phillips, who's a good one. Got a back injury, limited practice, questionable as well. And then linebacker Jordan Hicks, who was on the IR for a while. Good linebacker, been around for a bit, played on a few teams, Arizona being one of them. He's a good linebacker, man. He got activated off the 21-day window, I think, and I think he's back on the roster. So it looks like he's playing. He did have a shin injury, and it was a really serious shin injury, by the way, too. Like it was such a bad. I forget what the compartment compact injury or something like that it was called, but he had to be rushed to the hospital. Like he could have either lost a foot, lost a leg, died. I guess it was a pretty serious injury for Jordan Hicks. It was a real bad bruise, and it just morphed into something really bad. I'm no doctor, obviously, but he was a full practice. It looks like he's questionable too, so maybe his snaps will be maybe limited. But good to see, hey man, even though he's a Viking, good to see that he is healthy and good to go. And then outside linebacker, kind of rush end, Daniil Hunter had an illness, full practice. He is good to go. The defensive tackle, Sheldon Day, ankle, full practice, good to go as well. So a couple injuries for the Minnesota Vikings, couple starters. We'll talk about that in a little bit when we talk about the rosters. Now we go to the NFL rankings, and we'll start off with the Lions first with the offense. Yards per game, 394.4 yards per game. That puts them at number 3 in the NFL. They're rushing for 140.9. That puts them at number 2 in the NFL. Per rush, 4.8 yards per rush. That puts them at number 4. They're passing for 253.5 yards a game. That puts them at number 4 as well in the NFL. They got a QBR rating, 98.2, 4th in the NFL. They've only given up 28 sacks, tied for fourth with a few teams. Third down percentage into converting thirds into first downs out of 43.2%. That puts them at number 7 in the NFL. Possession per game, the offense is on the field 31 minutes, 22 seconds per average. That puts them at number 8 in the NFL. And they're scoring 27.3 points a game. That puts them at number 5. So great numbers all along the offense. Offense is not a problem. Even though we had a little bit of a struggle there for a month, offense is really not the problem. So it's a damn good offense. Now to the Vikings offense. They are scoring. They are totaling up 347.4 yards per game. That puts them at 11. They are rushing for 98.6 yards a game. That puts them at 24th in the NFL. Per rush, 4 yards per carry, tied for 28th. They're passing for 248 yards a game, puts them at 7. They've started 4 different quarterbacks. We'll talk about that too. Their QBR is 95.2, which is pretty impressive for all the quarterbacks that they've started. Is at 95.2. That puts them at number 8 in the NFL. They've given up 35 sacks, puts them at 23 in the NFL. They're converting third downs at the first at a 40.3% clip. That puts them at 15th, so around a little bit below average. They're possessing the ball 29 minutes, 53 minutes per average, 18th in the NFL. And they're scoring only 20.7 points. That puts them at 22. So, they have a lot of weapons on offense. Let's just come out with that right away. We'll talk about that in the roster too. But tons of weapons on their roster. Quarterback is their issue. Now let's go to the defense. Start with the Lions. 320.9 yards total. They're giving up. That puts them at 14th. They're rushing for they're rushing against is 90. They're giving up 95.9 yards per game. That puts them at 8th. So still a really good run defense. Per rush, 3.8 yards per rush. That puts them at 5th in the NFL, which is great. They're passing 225 yards against, puts them at 18th, so a little bit worse than average. QBR against 91.9, puts them at 24th, so we're struggling against some quarterbacks. We only got 30 sacks on the year. We're tied for 28. That's terrible. Third down conversion into first. Their teams are converting 38% of those. That puts us at 14th, so a little bit above average. And we're out in the field. The defense is out in the field 28 minutes, 56 seconds. That puts them at 8th. So that's not too bad. You don't want your defense out there too long, and there's still a top 10 defense there. So, they're still playing the run well. Pass defense is our problem. Not getting to the quarterback. I still think the secondary is an issue. We had a nice little coming out party. I don't want to say coming out party, but kind of back on track party against Denver. It's still a problem though. Now the Vikings, we talk about their defense, and it's a very good defense, especially lately. They're just a good. I think they have a really nice defense. They can get to the quarterback, and we'll talk about that too. But they're giving up 316 yards total a game. That puts them at 12th. They are a really good run defense, only giving up 92 yards a game. That puts them at 5th in the NFL. Per rush, 3.7, tied for 4th, which is excellent. Passing against 224 yards. That puts them at 17th. Their QBR against is 90.7. That puts them tied for 22nd. So some quarterbacks have some success in the passing game. Their third downs, teams are converting third downs in the first at a 41% clip. That's tied for 8th, which isn't too bad. Sorry. Take that back. Take that back. Sacks. They got 41 sacks on the year. That's tied for 8th. So that's good too. They can get to the quarterback. We'll talk about those guys too. So their third down percentage into first down, teams converting those are at a 40.6% clip. That's 24th in the NFL. So teams are converting third downs into first downs on that defense, as good as they have played. And their possession, they're on the field 30 minutes, 36 seconds per game. That puts them tied. That puts them for 18th overall in the NFL. So, they can stop the run really well. They stop the run at an excellent pace. You can pass on them a little bit if they're not getting to the quarterback, though. If they're getting to the quarterback, it's going to be a tough day. And they can get to the quarterback too. So, and the defense for the Lions. So sorry, points against 23.6. I had to come over here. 23.6 points against. That puts him at 23. And the Vikings are only giving him 19.2 points a game. That puts him at 6 overall. So that's an excellent, excellent defense in for points against right there for the Minnesota Vikings. Could be a problem. Now we go to the rosters real quick. Lions, quarterback Jared Goff, Teddy Bridgewater backing him up. Hendon Hooker looks like he's going to be activated in this game. Quarterback 3, meaning that he will not be able to play unless either Goff or Teddy Bridgewater get hurt. If he's even on the even if he's on the game day roster, he could be a healthy scratch tomorrow. You just never know. Now running backs: Jahmyr Gibbs, the rookie; David Montgomery, Craig Reynolds. Wide receivers: Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams is starting to click a little bit. Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and Antoine Green, the rookie. Tight ends: Sam Laporta, James Mitchell. Looks like Brock Wright's going to be out this game. They did call up Anthony Fursker from the practice squad, who's had some. I think he's had some bounce with the Titans, maybe the Raiders. Titans for sure. I don't really know his history too much. He's not much of a threat though. Then left tackle Taylor Decker, left guard Jonah Jackson, center Frank Ragnow, right guard Graham Glasgow, and right tackle Penei Sewell. All starting 5. We've been excellent with our starting 5 O-line. So that's a really good sign. And you got guys like Skipper, Sorsdal, and guys like Iwosika kind of backing up all those guys right there. Then the defense for the Lions, defensive end John Kaminsky, Joshua Pascal, who had a nice game last week versus the Broncos, Charles Harris, nose tackle Benito Jones, Broderick Martin, the rookie, defensive tackle Isaiah Buggs, Levi Ruzarike, defensive end Aiden Hutchinson, Akwara brothers. I don't know if Bruce Irvin will be dressed this game. Hopefully he is. I think I read somewhere that he might not be, but don't quote me on that 100%. And then Will linebacker, Alex Anzalone, Jalen Reeves-Maybin, who's played better lately. Middle linebackers, Jack Campbell, the rookie out of Iowa, Rodrigo. Then you got the Sam linebacker. Would it be Anthony Pittman? Will you see Jalen Reeves-Maybin in there maybe more? Trevor Nowaski, will he get activated onto the 53? Because guys with Derek Barnes being hurt, he's doubtful. He's probably not going to play. So who gets the bump up? It could be Anthony Pittman. Who really knows right now? Then quarterback Cam Sutton, Khalil Dorsey, who's played better. And then strong safety Ife Melifonu, who had a fantastic coming out game against the Denver Broncos last week. Need him again. Tracy Walker backing him up, playing some special teams. Free safety Kirby Joseph. Cornerback Kendall Vildor kind of took over for Jerry Jacobs, and Jerry Jacobs got benched. Looks like Jacobs is out now. And then nickel corner, Brian Branch, the rookie out of Alabama, with Will Harris and kind of Chase Lucas cleaning that up right there. So a couple changes, it looks like it's going to stay the same right now. And we need guys like Vildor and that secondary to step up, because they are in for a battle tomorrow. Now the Vikings offense. Quarterback Nick Mullins. He was their original backup guy. He got hurt during, I don't know if he got hurt during preseason. He got hurt during training camp. I know he was on IR. And then the Vikings went through, Cousins went down and went to Joshua Dobbs. And they went to Jaron Hall, the rookie. They've started 4 different quarterbacks. Mullins was their original QB2. And he is going to be starting, it looks like, the rest of the year for the Vikings so far. And then running back Tyson Chandler, who kind of came on last week, had a nice big game against the Bengals. They got C.J. Ham over there playing some fullback. They got another guy, Alexander Madison. Will he be back? Don't really know. Then wide receivers, this is where they got some ballers, man. Justin Jefferson is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. This year he might not have the numbers, but he's still one of the biggest threats at the position. Jordan Addison, the rookie, is an absolute stud. He's a problem. KJ Osborne's a nice little piece. And then Brandon Powell, you guys remember him, he used to play for Detroit a few years back. And he's got some special team ability. He's got some giddy up. He can get to the football. He can make some plays with his legs. So yeah, they have a lot of weapons, man. They have a lot of weapons. And then you go to the tight ends. TJ Hawkinson, who's having a career year, it looks like. I think he's going to break over 1,000 yards. I think he needs 90 something yards to get to 1,000. Like 98 yards, I feel. something like that. And then they got Josh Oliver kind of backing him up right there. They have a lot of they actually have a lot of tight ends on their roster. They usually carry, I think they carry 3 or 4 during the year. They like to use them in run packages that they're all good, pretty good blockers, except for, Hawkson was supposed to be a all around big tight end more. I think he's more the receiving threat now, which is fine. He gets the job done in that department. Then left tackle Christian Darrisaw, I think is one of the better left tackles in the league. He's young, he's good. Left guard Dalton Risner, and then center Garrett Bradbury. Right guard Ed Ingram. Right tackle, will it be Brian O'Neill? It could be David Quisenberry for the right tackle spot, but it looks like O'Neill's questionable. Who knows if he plays though? And then fullback, they kind of round it off with C.J. Ham. He can play some running back as well too. So really good offense, weapons all over the place. They got weapons everywhere, and we'll talk about that too in a bit. Then their defense, defensive end, Jonathan Bullard. Nose tackle, Harrison Phillips, I think was a really good inside presence. Defensive tackle, Chris Tonga, Sheldon Day, backing him up. Left outside linebacker, Daniil Hunter is an absolute stud. Patrick Jones the second. Then they got left inside linebacker, Troy Dye, who's a pretty good linebacker. Brian Asamoah, who I really liked coming out of college a couple years back. Or this year, whatever, that he was drafted. I really liked him. Then right inside linebacker, Ivan Pace Jr., undrafted, great story, making plays all over the field for the Minnesota Vikings. Then right outside linebacker, DJ Woooooooo is kind of like, he's the bookend for Daniil Hunter. He's got 7-8 sacks as well too. They have a lot of sacks between Hunter and Woooooooo, and he gets the job done. Cornerback Mekhi Becton, Byron Murphy going to be out, so it looks like Becton will be in. So they got a backup starting. Free safety, strong safety, Harrison Smith, who's a really good one. Free safety, look out for this guy's name, guys. Cameron Bynum, tackling machine. Can get to the ball, can make some plays. Look out for him. Look out for Cameron Bynum. I got a feeling he's going to be making some plays tomorrow. And quarterback, Caleb Evans, and then nickel back, Josh Metellus, ex-Michigan Wolverine right there. So, a really good defense, a very underrated defense. They're top 5 in some categories, top 10 in a few as well. This defense can get to the football. This defense can play the run exceptionally well, Minnesota. So, they got some ballers on that defense. But let's talk the Lions offense and the defense. The Lions, what their bread and butter is, they can run the football really well. They do everything well. The Lions offense does everything well. There's not really a thing they don't do well. They run the ball well. They pass the ball well. They got a great O-line. Goff has his moments. Wide receivers have their moments. We got rookies like Sam Laporta having a career year, having a crazy rookie year, breaking records. I'm not really concerned overall with their offense. Not concerned about that. The Vikings play the run well though, but we won't be afraid to run. We're number 2 in the NFL running the football. They're like their defense is like number 5 in stopping the run. They don't give up a ton of yards. They don't give up a ton of touchdowns. They just play really sound defense. And if they're getting to the quarterback, it's going to be an issue. Brian Flores will hide some blitzes. He likes the blitz. Jared Goff hasn't been that great versus the blitz this year. He's given up, I think, the second most turnovers as a quarterback against the blitz. I don't know who's number 1, but I did read that Jared Goff's number 2. I think he has 5 interceptions versus the blitz. Turnovers altogether, I don't really know, but I know interceptions are a problem. And Flores, who actually, in a small sample size, has owned Jared Goff. Once with the Dolphins, I believe, and once with my New England Patriots. I think it was a Super Bowl too as well. I think that was the Super Bowl where Goff didn't have a good game. So, people are going off that. You got to talk about it because it's a real thing. But the Lions are going to do what they do. They're going to run the football. They're going to use the play action. They're going to throw a couple deep passes. They're going to do what they do. They're going to use Laporta all day. They're going to use Amon-Ra all day. They're going to run Gibbs. They're going to run Montgomery. There's no real surprise on what this offense is going to do. Ben Johnson will throw some trickeration in there, some tricks are for kids, all that kind of stuff in there, which is good. It throws the defense off a little bit. It kind of, it kind of kicks them in the nuts, especially when it works. Dan Campbell will go for it. He trusts this offense a ton. Michael Badgley is our new kicker again. Patterson's, at least I think he's done for the year or whatever they did to him. I don't know if they threw him in a garbage can. I don't know what happened. It was some type of injury, they're saying, but I think, he missed a couple extra points. He missed some field goals. They don't trust him beyond the 50. So it's like, Badgley's no superstar kicker, but they probably trust him a little bit more. But, you're going to have to score some points against Minnesota. Not that I'm afraid of their offense. Now let's talk about that Vikings offense. Weapons everywhere. Now I watched that Bengals and Minnesota game, and Nick Mullins is capable of throwing for big yards. He makes some nice throws. He does. He's not the biggest guy out there. I think he's only like 6'2", maybe not even 6'1", 6 foot. 200-something pounds. He's not a big guy. Got a decent arm, but he will throw into traffic. He will throw a ball up in the air. He threw 2 horrible picks against the Bengals. It probably should have been more, but what he has is, and I've talked about it, he has the weapons. He's got Justin Jefferson, Mr. Jetta himself. He's got Hawkinson, guys like Jordan Addison, a good old line. Maybe a running game. It looks like with this Ty Chandler kid. They'll bail him out of some problems. They will bail him out. And when you have weapons like that, he's probably told, either he could be told just to throw the ball downfield. Maybe not. I'm just kind of guessing because, when you got weapons like Jefferson and Hawk and Jordan Addison and, and even guys like, even guys like, what's his name there? KJ Osborne. You're going to make some plays. You're going to make some plays downfield just winging the ball. And that's what Nick Mullins does. So I think if they blitz this guy, they blitz Mullins, get into his face, that's going to cause problems. They threw off the Denver Broncos last week, the Detroit Lions. I think they threw that game plan. Whatever Denver wanted to do, I don't think they had in store what the Lions were going to do. They had to have thought they were going to do something else because they couldn't adjust. They couldn't come back from it. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth. They just couldn't. Denver scored a couple touchdowns, just scored the one late touchdown. The garbage time. That game was out of reach by the second quarter. That game was done when the second quarter ended at halftime, and Denver could not come back. Now, what they're going to do against the Minnesota Vikings, your guess is as good as mine. The Vikings, they, for as bad as their quarterback situation has been, they haven't been that bad, and I think it all just falls back on that. I think it falls back on those playmakers. They got insane playmakers, man, through top to bottom, man. Just really good playmakers that make plays and bail out their quarterback. So they'll try to run the ball, which they're going to have to try to do. We play the run exceptionally well. Our weakness is the secondary and our pass rush. We got to get the Mullins. We got to disguise some blitzes. Aaron Glenn is in for a tough game. He's in for a tough game, even with Nick Mullins, just because of those weapons alone. So blitz the hell out of that kid. Blitz the hell out of him because when the Bengals got to him, he panicked and he would literally just throw the ball up like a grenade. He would throw it like a grenade, man. He threw 2 horrible picks. Should have been more. It should have been more. Like I said, Jordan Addison bailed him out once. Jefferson bailed him out a couple times. You could just see it. You could just see it. Lions got to make some plays, got to get to the football, and we should win this game. We really should win this football game. This is for all the marbles, guys. This is for the division. This is it. 30 friggin' years, guys. 30 years. We've never won the North. Never won the North. We won it when it was the NFC Central. What was it? I can't begin to tell you, but it's been 30 years. So yeah, it's been 30 years. It's the last time they won. I was 20. I was 20 years old when they won, man. 20. I'm 50 years old. That's insane. Too long, man. The Lions know what they got to do. I'm telling you, the Vikings are not going to go away. Vikings are not going to go away. They do not want to watch the Detroit Lions dancing in the middle of their field, winning the division, holding up whatever they got to hold up. I don't know if they'll go as far as carrying Dan Campbell or doing anything crazy like that, but they don't want to see that, the Vikings. I don't think anybody in that organization does. So they're going to come out like gangbusters, and the Lions need to do the same thing. I got the Lions winning this football game, though. Last week I picked against Detroit. I just didn't like the way they were playing. They made a statement game last week against the Broncos, who kind of came in a little bit like the Vikings. The Vikings kind of started off rough. I think they started off 1-5 or something like that. I believe is 1-5, 2-4. I forget, but they had some problems. They were getting scored on. Their offense was kind of, Jefferson went down. Some injuries piled up, and they started off rough, and then they started playing good football again a little bit down the stretch. Kind of like what the Broncos did. Started off terrible. Then they started playing really good football down the stretch. And then we faced a hot Broncos team and dismantled them. Now, I think the Vikings are a little bit better of a football team in some areas. They're a little bit similar. I mean, not like in playing style or anything like that. Just kind of the situation, if you know what I'm trying to get at. And we need to put them away. Let's just get this over with. Now, there's some scenarios going on that the Lions can still clinch if they don't win on Sunday. Let's just win the damn football game, guys. Just win it. Clinch the division. You got a playoff game at home. You're playing either the 6th seed or the 5th seed. Whatever you're going to do. Whatever you're doing, do it. Whatever you got to do, do it. 5th seed, 7th seed, 6th. I don't care who you're playing. You know what I mean? Everyone's talking about who we're going to play in the first round. Doesn't matter, because whoever we play is not going to be as good as us. They're not. Even if it's Seattle, LA, Matthew Stafford coming to town, we're still better than those teams. I think we are better than those teams, even though we struggle against teams like Seattle. So, but it doesn't matter. Just win, you're in. Win the division. It's it. Long one, 27 minutes and change going. I appreciate it, guys. But the score, 27-17 for the Detroit Lions. I got us winning double digits, man. I'm a little nervous about this football game. Obviously, it's for all the marbles. It's to get in, and I don't think the Vikings are going to go away. But I just don't think they're good enough at the moment. We are going to win this football game, Detroit. We have to. Just get that monkey off the back, wrap it up, start worrying about the playoffs, man. It's been way too long. So 27-17 Detroit Lions, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching me. Don't forget to hit a notification bell. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button first on the bottom right. Don't forget the notification bell up top. Like, comment, share this out. Appreciate it, guys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Be safe out there, guys. One pride. Detroit versus everybody. Let's go. Woo! Boom.